Ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Almost Famos. It is a fun episode where I talk about how nothing went right making this episode. Nothing. Just everything went wrong. Even while I was making this episode, I didn't say it in the podcast, but the memory card filled up. I had to take a break and clean that off and then put it back in the camera midway through, but nothing was working. I basically spent the first 30 minutes of the podcast talking about why nothing was working and what wasn't working, explaining the issues. I spend another 15 minutes talking about the ongoing scammer that has been trying to scam me out of money, but I've just been leading him on. I told that story. And then the last, from 35-ish minutes onwards, if you're finding the beginning stuff a little too technical, or if you've already heard the scam story, for the last 35 minutes, I'm breaking apart one of our songs called Famos. It's super cool to break these songs apart. I have the screen recording and the audio from it. So if you go on the YouTube, I think it's still Too Many Jams on YouTube, but you can probably search Almost Famos and it comes up. You can watch the video, you can see all the stuff, but it'll be probably just as fine to listen to because I'm trying to be super descriptive and the audio is coming through. But it was fun to go back. This was one of the OG songs we wrote, kind of about the sentiment of what I was feeling with the band name John Famos and just the idea in general. And so if you're into that, you can feel free to skip ahead. And if not, listen to the whole thing. But enjoy the epi, rock and roll. Let's get into it. Na, 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 na.
I'm almost famous. Chill out, mom, I'm doing it my own way. I'm almost famous. I'll freak off, yet I'll make my money someday.
Okay, whatever. Literally, whatever, dude. You have no, I don't even know how to put it. I don't even know how to put it in words. This episode, technology, everything just did not line up for this one epi. It's we have the couch behind me and I was like, cool. Right when we got that couch, I was like, sick, let's get guests. I know it's a pandemic, but let's get somebody who you could actually in somewhat in your friend group where you can be like, hey, have you kind of spent the last week kind of quarantined? Have you seen anybody? Are you going to see anybody? And if not, neither have we. Maybe let's do a podcast. Come over, sit on the couch, and there's a little bit of a risk involved, but the way we've all been living, as long as you kind of communicate, it's funny that meeting up in COVID is oh, my fucking hair is out of control. Meeting up in COVID is comparable to having unprotected sex with strangers. It's or unprotected sex, I guess, in general. You're just saying do I trust this person? You're asking the questions. Are you safe? Basically, do you have stitters? And then you do the old risk reward and you meet up. It's like those are what COVID. Someone coming over for a podcast during COVID would be like, hey, are you safe? Are you being safe as well? And then so right when I got to do something about my hair. 1 sec. Okay, that's better. It was just bugging me. It's not even that it looked weird. I just had I had my headphones on, so I wasn't wearing a hat or anything, and my hair was absolutely poofing out all around the headphones. Right when I kind of got that vibe, they came out with all this recent COVID news that it's just DEFCON 6 with DEFCON 1. I think it actually that's worse. With all these variants, ICUs are packed. Everyone's gonna die. And just put out that extra scary news cycle. And I was I sent one feeler to some friends. I was like, what do you think? And they're like, nah. And I'm like, all right. So that brought me down. I think things are going to settle again because, as the weather warms up, COVID will inevitably chill and people's attitudes will chill a little bit. But it's just one of those things where it's like you don't want to get it in like the home stretch. You know, like you don't want to make it a year locked up, living well, and then right at the end be like, just get it. But who cares? Literally fucking, I hope I get it and just pass on to another dimension, because this one's poo-poo caca right now. And oh my God, and the new variant in India is just, so some people have it a lot worse. So I'm going to keep my mope to a moderate mope. It's going to be a moderate mope. So I'm on, I'll tell you what else went wrong. So yeah, just a little bit sketchy about guests. I'm going to talk to some people, try to find somebody who's maybe a little bit more comfortable, like maybe like they are isolating, but also like they're not seeing their parents or something. So they're okay with the risk of popping over. I'll try to sort something out. I know I have some friends that are still interested in having responsible podcasts and coming over. I was really pumped to get guests on, and so I was like, whatever, another day, just do the podcast. And I was gonna do a song exploder. I have my song loaded up here. The second song that our band kind of wrote, and I was just gonna break it apart. I did this for Gassed, the first song we wrote a while ago, and it was fun because I don't remember like a lot of the stuff we put into these tracks. So it's kind of cool just to like pop them open again and just relive it. Because this was like 3 years ago. So it was so much more exciting thinking like, I'm just going to blow up on music because I have this awesome ability. I was just stoking myself up, and now reality is sunk in. It's like, you still got to grind. And I remember I just saw this TikTok, or maybe it was an Insta clip, and this guy was like, average, shit. It was average ability and extraordinary will beats out extraordinary ability and average will. And obviously, if you have an extraordinary will, ability usually follows if you have some talent. But it was like a bit of a like psych me up, but also psych me down, because I know I don't have an extraordinary ability. Like no one would. I don't think it's like out of this world crazy, but I think it's good. Above average, I'd say. Much above average. And when it comes to songwriting, I think well above average. So I'm like, fuck, like you can't just rely on any like above average thing. You have to have extraordinary will. Like get out of here with that. I have goodwill. I'm goodwill. I'm that place where you donate things to that helps people. But yeah, anyway, so back then I thought every song we made, I was like, fuck, can't wait till we are famous off this one song, which is funny because now like I'm like, let's write and put out 20 songs, because I think it's going to be a grind and it's going to take some time and a lot of work. And but it's fun going back and like reliving these songs, and you can kind of see the amateur sentiment in them. And these ones were all like home produced too. And I think this song that I'm about to blow up, it's called Famos. I actually made all myself. I didn't even get Robbie in on this one because I was living. I wasn't living with Robbie at the time, and I just whipped this one up. He obviously comes in after and helps me tweak it and says, I like this or I don't like that, or he would like. But I just did all the stuff on this one writing wise, and then Scott Goodwin did the mixing after, and also added like some things that you won't hear in this breakdown because he has that file, but he like, if you actually listen to the final track, and I'll put that at the end of the podcast, you'll hear the difference between what I sent him and the finished track. So the finished track would have been mixed and has some like extra cool features. But yeah, so I was gonna do this like song exploder, and basically the computer started like acting so funny. Like I run off a Mac station for all like my core stuff, and I have my laptop over here. And when I film these types of podcasts, I need both, because I'm recording the screen on my computer and I'm doing like all that work on my main computer, and then I have my laptop back here in the video just recording the audio for this podcast, and I got my camera over here. So I needed two computers, and my main computer is on the fritz. Something's up. I don't know what's up. know it's pretty full, and I haven't updated it in a while. And I was thinking that that's, probably to do with it. But I was getting some like serious system error crash every once in a blue moon. And right when I went to do this podcast, I got everything set up. It was late on a Tuesday, and like it crashed, and I was like, I got to eat food. Like, it's late. I can't do this podcast. And I just was like, whatever, I'll do it Wednesday morning. And then I went to do it Wednesday morning, and like nothing was working. I couldn't even play videos on my computer. It just, like, it would load, the internet was there, everything else would work, but videos wouldn't play. And it's funny because I was like Googling how to fix when videos don't play on your computer, and like videos will pop up. Like, how to fix when videos don't play on your computer. I'm like, idiot, I can't fucking watch videos. And not even like the videos I click on my desktop, like no videos would play. And so I looked it up on my laptop and tried to get some answers there, but no one was really answering it. And then I realized like it was weirdly related to, I use something called Soundflower. And if any of you out there have ever recorded your computer screen, your Mac computer screen, you can do it. You hit Command-Shift-5. And a menu will pop up and it says you could record your whole screen or just a portion of it. And it doesn't record audio. So it just, you can record your screen. But again, that's silly because you want the audio. I'm doing stuff on my computer. I want the audio. So you have to download this thing called Soundflower. And it's a little kind of like application that you install into your computer. And then you go into your sound settings and you click it as like where the sound goes to. So the sound from your computer will go to this thing called Soundflower, which I don't know how it does it, but when you hit record on your screen recording, audio then goes into it. Makes no sense. I don't know how that fixes it, but it fixes it. But doing that for the better part of a couple years, and that's how I like get clips off the internet too, if I include anything. But something was on the fritz with that. When I would kind of like select it as a device to put the sound through, videos wouldn't play then. And I don't want to get too much into the technicals, but if you go into your Mac, if you're someone who does media stuff like videos or music, podcasts, anything, you've probably been into the sound settings called audio Midi setup. And in there you can do like funky stuff, like the computer naturally just wants to send audio to one place, your speakers. Or if you have a headphone plugged in, it's going to send it to the headphone port and not your speakers. But if you go into this like audio MIDI application on your computer, you can set up multi-output devices. So for me, like I have sound interfaces that I plug like my instruments, and also my headphones go into them. But I also want music to go like to different, like I want them to go to like the headphone port too in the computer, or if two people are listening to music, I can like split them so it comes out that the speaker port, or sorry, the headphone port and my interface and the speakers, or I can just fuck with all that shit. And I was finding that what I would do to record like this audio for this podcast when I record the screen is I make a multi-output device where the audio comes into my headphones, but also it splits and it goes into Soundflower so that the audio shows up in the screen recording as well, so you, the listener, can hear it. And so it was just like whenever I was messing with that, I would turn on these multi-output devices and video just wouldn't play. Or so I started tweaking with it. It was taking so much time. And then also like my microphone stand, you tighten it so it doesn't move. No matter how much I tighten it, it was still moving. And I was just getting so frustrated. I couldn't figure it out, and I just gave up again because I had a lot of work to do Wednesday. So it's Thursday, and I'm like, okay, I'll just get back to it this morning. I'll get back to it. I get up super early, so it's not a big deal. I'll do it in the morning before the day starts. I get up at 6, go for my run, clean my room up. 6:30, I sit down to set up the podcast AM. And my computer bugs out on me again. And I just have had it. I've like, nothing's working. I'm like, this is just I'm so frustrated. Something in the galaxy is misaligned. technologically. I don't know if any of you astrology heads could explain that to me. Maybe Mercury's in Gatorade or something. And so I just do the whole computer fix. I bite the bullet. I go into my computer and I clean 100 gigabytes of stuff off it, move it to external hard drives. I do, I clean some caches out and I do a system update. And the system update takes an hour and a half, like just stuck in I download it. And then as it's like reinstalling the new operating system, that just takes a clean hour and a half this morning. And I'm like, fine, I don't know what to do. It's the morning. Like I don't even know what to do. So that time passes. I finally get the computer kind of running again after new update. Like a lot of things aren't compatible, and I'm like filtering through applications and get everything running again. The same issue starts happening with like this recording audio on my computer just not working. I'm not gonna keep boring you with like that. But anyway, it takes me so long to figure that out. And finally, I kind of get to a place where it's kind of working, and then my internet cuts out, and I have no internet right now. Like, what? I'm on Bell 5 internet. Like, what? It just cuts out the middle of the day. It's a work day. So I've had it to fucking here right now. So I wasn't able to research how to fix some things. I hope this works as usual. I think I have it so that I can do this podcast without the internet. And anyway, that's where I'm at. Okay. I'm losing my mind. It's all this new COVID stuff and just being locked in a house. I thought the solution was to move into a house that was big and open and I could do everything from home. That's why I thought that because I was in a real dark place with the lockdowns. So I was like, just move into a nice house, build a home studio, build a home gym, have a big room with space to stretch out, and a big house where you just like, you can go to different areas. And you know what it feels like? It feels like you're still in prison, but you like were Pablo Escobar and you made a nice prison for yourself. It's still prison and he still wanted to get out of there. You know what I mean? Every time I go outside for a run in the morning, that's like sometimes that and groceries is the only time I leave the house. Maybe to drop something off at the post office. Like it's like yard time. That's what I've been calling it. You know, prisoners get like 30 minutes of yard time. Like that's where I'm at. And it's just not inspiring for music. It's not inspiring for art. It's maybe it is for some people, but not for me. And what's funny is I do a little social thing. Like, I don't know. I don't even know if it's like a Zoom call with friends or even when I hop in video games and I talk to a few buddies, I immediately get all my like life is happening. Like something's like I get that feeling of aliveness back. And then I come home and I spend the entire day at home and it's like, that just leaves. But that's why I'm not relying on my personal feelings I look like I have a fucking unibrow. Why is that? It's a shadow. Who's that basketball player with the uni? The way fuck. Let me see if I can move this around. Oh, that's too bright. Oh. Okay, there we go. Unibrow sorted. I have ADD too. I have quarantine-induced ADD. Yeah, I'm not relying on my like creativity to create because I would be in a blender. So I've just been putting it in my routine, and we set goals for the songs we want to get out, which luckily were pre-written. We had a lot of songs in the bank that we've just been working on, and we still try to just write a new one just every week, just even if it's shit, and it often is, honestly, these days. It's because we just got nothing really. other than writing about how much I am losing it in quarantine, that's like what the songs all become about. And then I wrote one about OnlyFans too, which is pretty jokes. Maybe I'll work on that a bit more. It's like through the perspective of like, you're a small town girl, like nothing's going on. You just sell your shit on OnlyFans, and like it's just gonna be around forever. The music that we had pre-recorded was sick though. We had enough of a selection, and we're actually in the studio not this weekend, but the next weekend to finish the 2 that we recorded like over a month ago, because that studio session got cut short as well. We've just been getting just banged from all sides. The studio that we used got booked out by a major artist. We booked 2 days right before it to finish 2 songs. Didn't get the 2 songs done. So we were going to finish them during night sessions while the major artist was in there. The major artist wanted the nights as well. We had to cancel a few night sessions. And now we're just finally going back. We were going to use these days that we were going back to finish 2 new songs. But instead, it's because we weren't able to do the night sessions, it's looking like we'll finish the 2 old songs, and then we're going to try to tack on 1 new song, like if we can fit in a day, and then we'll probably finish that new song towards the end of May, as well as add a 4th. So we'll have 4 bangers. They're all like kind of 90s rock feeling, like Blink-182, bring you back to that era with like some of them a bit more like artsy and modern, but it's like they're 4 songs that are kind of in the same vein, but from different angles. They're a lot of fun. Some are really catchy. Some are like really like get you going-y, but they're all like prep for summer. One's moody and cool. I don't know. They're just cool. Can't wait to get them out. And then alongside that, the 4 we do in studio, because that's just, it's got to be a numbers game for us now with TikTok and just getting content out there. Robbie and I are going to home produce like this song, like the one I'm about to break open for you, like we used to do. We're going to home produce like, I don't know, 3 to 6 tracks over the course of the summer. And I don't know if we'll release them in the summer, but we might just release them as we finish them in the gaps of the other songs. And it'll probably be like stuff that we release to kind of fill the gaps between summer to summer, because winters are just kind of like locked down. Not really a great time for music in general. So it'd be nice to have like a bank of home produced songs to kind of just spread over that time period. It just sucks like lugging gear around in the winter and just going to the studio and meeting up, like going to the rehearsal places and meeting up with the guys. Also, pre-COVID, you just never wanted to play a show in the winter. You didn't want to promo anything or have any events. Everyone's sad. Christmas takes up a huge chunk of it. It's just like, yeah. That's why you go move somewhere hot. But yeah, that's kind of like the old music update on Almost Famos. The other music update is I'm still getting scammed. So that is an ongoing scam, and I have updates. If you didn't listen to last episode, I talked about how a guy hit me up in the DMs, and he basically said, you know, he went like really deep on our page, found a video of a cover he liked, and he goes, "I really like your voice. It's my son's 5th birthday coming up. Could I pay you to write him like a little birthday song, like a couple minutes? I'll pay you $500, just like something like cool, meaningful. Say his name in it. It looked legit." Like the request looked legit. I looked at his profile. It was enough legit looking that I would answer, but it was not like, oh, for sure this is a person. Like it was a private profile and only 3 posts. So I was like, okay, maybe let's just see what happens. So I run through the motions. I to make sure it wasn't a scam, I was like, okay, send me some information on what you want the song to be. Like, tell me his name, like some things about him that you'd want in the song, and send me a little deposit. So I know like you're serious. So I don't just do all this work and like send me a deposit. He's like, yeah, I'll send you a deposit. I'll send you $300 now and $200 when it's done. And he gave me some information about his son. It all seems real. Like these probably aren't scammers from a different country. These are probably people that run scams in North America. And so I'm telling my parents about this. the person, I originally was like, okay, pay me on PayPal, pay me the deposit on PayPal. And the person's like, I don't have PayPal, but I can send you a check. And I was like, okay, like this is where it starts to get sketch, but I was trying to figure out where the scam is because he's sending me a check. He hasn't asked for any of my bank details or wire details or address. He just was like, I'll email you a picture of the check and you can open the picture on your computer and use your phone to like scan it to e-deposit, which is a thing people do, I guess. And I tell my dad this because my family, I'm chilling with my family, and I like when stuff like this happens, obviously I tell them, and they're asking a bunch of questions like who is doing this? Come on, why? Like, how are they paying you? This is a scam for sure. And I'm like, they're paying by check. And my dad goes, okay, just watch out for the check scam. And you got to love dads. Dads just, they just know this shit. I'm like, what's the check scam? He's like, they send you a check that's more money than they're supposed to send you. And then they ask, and it's like a fraudulent check. So they have a way of making a check that like deposits, but it takes the bank a while to figure out it's fraudulent. So they send you a check, you deposit, you're like, oh, I got the money in my bank account. Then you send them the cash back. The bank takes like a week or whatever. And then they go, oh, you deposited a fraudulent check. They yank it from your account and you're just out the money. Like there is no, I don't think there's any, like it's not like your credit card. It's your checkings account. So there's no real, I don't think there's any, there's no protection for if you send a scammer money. So I was like, okay, like probably that, right? Like I could probably that. That's probably what's about to happen. Literally the next message from this guy. And I guess I was going to make a whole TikTok series about this, where I was going to like have the DMs in the background because it's pretty interesting. So I won't put him up in this video. Too much work. I'm just going to do it on my TikTok. So just follow Johnny Famos on TikTok. I'll put it out the next couple of days because it's an ongoing story. Oh, it's just John Famos on TikTok actually. So the next message from this guy is, he goes, oh, like my manager messed up and they accidentally cut a check for $3,000 instead of $300. And apparently I can't pull another check from the same account without some sort of penalty, but it's not a big deal. I'll just send it to you and you can send me back the difference. And I go, oh, can I? Can I send you back the difference? It'd be my pleasure. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, scam, whatever. It's a scam. I haven't done any work, and I kind of figured it could be this whole time. So it wasn't like, it was upsetting because I was actually kind of pumped. I was like thinking it would be jokes. It'd be jokes to write a kid like a song for his birthday and just make it rock, make it cool. And it'd be a really interesting memory, I think, for this kid. So I was a little sad, and obviously $500 helps any day of the week. But instead of just being like, hey man, sorry, it's a scam, it's done, I wanted to fuck with them, sue me. I was thinking, I'm not just going to let this person I'm not going to call the cops because the cops don't do anything. I have no idea how to deal with shit like this. And I see a lot of people on YouTube that fuck with scammers. So I just thought, I'll just waste their time. That's what I can do. So I responded to his message. I said, yeah, no problem. Send that check over. Email it on over. I'll definitely do that. And he goes, great. Yeah, you can send me the money back. And he's like on this app, and he gave the name of some obscure app. And he's like, I trust you. Your music says a lot about people, so I know I can trust you. Couldn't be more like these people. I don't know if they're dumb, but they seem pretty fucking stupid. Like I'm not smart, and I just would never, even if my dad hadn't told me about the check. I am smart. What am I saying? But I could easily get scammed. At that point, like even if my dad hadn't told me about the scam, I would have been out. Like the first sign of funny business, I was going to be out. And they said, send me back money on some app that I don't recognize. It wasn't like Venmo or whatever. I'm like, why couldn't I just send you an e-check back if that's what we're doing here, you fucking scammer. But I was like, I want this person to make this fake check. I want them to take the time. So I was like, yeah, send me that check. It takes him like a week and a half, which I like. I hope like, you know, he had to pull in a favor to get a fake check made. And yeah, he's like, okay, here's a check. It should check your mailbox. It was like a week later. And I'm like, yeah, I got it. Thank you. Let me just deposit it. I didn't deposit it. I Googled it, and apparently even depositing it, you can get fee from your bank. And if you know it's fraudulent, in theory, you can actually get charged. But, I mean, in this case, technically I wouldn't have known it's fraudulent. I just had a hunch. But they will charge you a fee for this check bouncing. And I don't know. I just didn't want to fuck with that at all. So I'm not even going to cash it. But I told the guy I deposited it. And I said, once the money shows up in my account, I'll send you back the money. But first, I'm almost done the song. Can you tell me more about your son? I was like, tell me, you know, give me some memories, you know, some really important moments. And I was like, and use as much detail as you can, you know, like, you know, visual, sound, smell. I'm like, I want this guy to just waste his fucking time on me. And he's like, oh, great, yeah. And he just like lists some bullshit. And it could, honestly, like a part of me is like, maybe this guy does have a son, and now I'm starting to feel bad. But who would use their actual son in a scam? So I also don't feel bad. So so he's going through that, and then I'm like, cool. Don't respond. Let him sweat it overnight. Sends me like, he's just sending follow-up messages. Like obviously this what makes me really happy is like, I picture that this guy or this girl has got like a scam operation. You know, they got their leads on the wall, and I'm hoping that I'm like top on that list. Like I'm hoping this guy is like, oh, like we've got like, I hope he thinks he's already got that $3,000 and he's like spent it on some shit. Like I hope he thinks that I'm a sure thing. I'm literally going along with the scam entirely. So that brought me a lot of joy. Like I hope he's like telling his scam buddies like, oh, I got these guys, like they're about to send it. Like he said he deposited the check. He's gonna do it all. I really hope so. And I hope he also gets knocked out by someone randomly in public for no reason. That's just a side thing because fuck you. Like seriously, fuck you. You're a loser. You're a scumbag. Yeah, fuck you, dude. And so what I'm trying to, I don't know if they'd ever see this podcast because I'm going to try to keep it going for a couple more days, keep it going as long as I can. But if they see this podcast, obviously it's going to dry up. But he's been like hitting me like, hey, is it in your account yet? So I think I'm going to hit him back with a, yeah, it's in my account. And I'm going to be like, cool, like how do I send this money? Like just really get his hopes up. Like, where do I send this money to? Like, what do I, you know, send me all the details, have him send all the details, fidget around with it for a while, couple days, like really, really spread it out. And then I think at the end, I don't know if I'll actually I think I might write him a song and be like, oh, by the way, like, yeah, I'm about to send the money back to you, but I already finished a song, and like send the song, and it'll be like I think it'll be jokes to actually write a song. In case he does actually have a son, you know, but not even really. But because in the song, I'm going to like start off seriously, like do some stuff, and then I'm gonna reveal that like you're a fucking scammer, and like all this shit in it. Make it bang to make the song slap. Or if that's too much work, I may just like right at the last minute be like, hey, something's weird's happening. Like, I just got a call from my bank and they said something about a sergeant stopping by, and I don't know. I got to call them back. I really don't know what's going on, and just like see how he sweats it out. And then I don't know where I can go from there. I'd be like, the police stopped by. They took my phone and like all the records, and like I like just basically like throw something scary like that out there. I'm sure he wouldn't give a fuck because he's like, they got all this spammy fake account shit down. But I might end it with that. But yeah, that's a classic scam, apparently. One to keep an eye out for if you're in, I don't know, not even if you're just in the arts, but if you have a public Instagram, something to watch out for. But yeah, let me get into, we're about 30 minutes in. Let me break apart this song here. Let me finish this podcast with a little song, and I will start recording my screen here. Let me see, where would I put this in? I think I would put it on the left side. So I'm going to move the camera so it's like I'm like way in the corner. There we go. This song's called Famos, and it was right around when we were naming the band, and I was just like getting into the vibe of like what Famos meant. I'm actually going to pull up a different version of the song. Yeah, I'll pull open the actual OG version with instruments and stuff. The last time I did a song breakout like this, it was the version that was just the audio stems. But I wanted to actually show the different layers here. So let me see. Okay, that should work. Let me do a little test to make sure it's working. It's coming through the speakers. I'll turn that down. Coming through my headphones now. Why didn't this work? This is what I mean. Like, this is what I mean. This was working a second ago. Right when I started the podcast, nothing, I didn't change a setting. I just opened up a different file. So give me a sec. Okay. If this doesn't work, I'm literally throwing this Mac out the window. The song's called Famos. Again, this was, as I said, this wasn't really a band project. This was just me ripping. When I was first getting into making the music, when Robbie and I were first kind of forming the band, I was primarily like, Robbie just didn't even really know much even about Logic at the time, which is this software. I was primarily the person that knew about it. Also, I had like a strong kind of songwriting background, whereas like Robbie was just kind of getting his chops early days. Now he's more than caught up. So I wrote this song out, and I remember starting with just the synth, and the synth was like this thing right here. So that's just like, if you look on the screen here, this is something called Alchemy. It comes with Logic. It's free with Logic, and it's got just thousands of different synth sounds. And you can kind of, if I go up here, you can see that you can sort by, guitars, drums, brass, bass. It's just like synthesized, I guess, versions of all this. And then you can go in each of those into subcategories. So cinematic, dance, digital, and then you could even go into genre, trance, techno, soundtrack, and then even they have something called timber. What the fuck is timber? Where it's like thin. I guess it's like, it's another, so complex, clean, distorted, bright. I guess timber is like kind of like the nature of the sound. Anyway, I found this sub sound, and I thought it was cool. Didn't know I was going to write a song out of it. I'm only playing, as you can see on the screen here, 2-note chords. So everything else you hear is the actual synthesizer creating like that sweeping sound. So these are 2 notes going. Oh, those are the notes. And if I reactivate, oh my God. Why won't you let me just undo it? There we go. Just nothing's going normal. Those notes that you just heard that were just going boom, boom, through this synthesizer, that's what they sound like. My next move, I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember. Let's see where it goes here, though.
Famos.
Okay, I'm starting to remember. Okay, I don't think I had any of that at the beginning. I had the synth. And what I did is I built the beat out after. And then I think I came back around and worked in that beginning. So let's see what we have for the beat here. Boom. Is this a beat? Yeah, not a bad beat. I remember this was a beat I was pretty proud of. It had a lot of different elements. If you look at the screen, like kick, snare, hi-hat, crash, like some funky sounds. I want to see what each one is. Ooh, that's an 808. I added an 808 in there too. I don't know why I've doubled the same drums twice, so that's why I just got louder there. What's this? Okay, that's a hi-hat. And this is all synthetic. I'm tapping this out on a keyboard, not on actual drums. And there's another element I'm missing here. I think it's this. Yeah, what is that? Just like sounds. Add that into the synth. And I probably layered a guitar over this before anything. So I probably added in like so you wonder what chords, like how I know to just like layer guitar and stuff like that. But when you make music, even just that simple synth line that I laid out, you can tell kind of what key the whole song is in from that, because that will follow a certain scale. And music is not that complex. It's just like a tiny smidge of math. That's what's actually crazy. That's why I think I don't know if a lot of musicians would be good at math, but I'm good at math and I'm good at music. It's just math. So you may not. Yeah. So it would have been that simple. I think I added some more synths. What are these? Okay, so that's like a synth piano doing the chords as well. And I can see that I have synths kind of doing more like a lead line, like these. So, like, this is why making music can be fun. And if you didn't have the stresses of life around you and the stress of actually becoming successful off it, it's just at the end of the day, you're creating something, and it's super enjoyable. And I've only learned to hate it. I used to really love it. I still love it. I'm just joking, but like there's just more stress and stuff now with COVID and everything that's going on. And also the stress comes when you get to the next stage, which is like you've made a loop or you've made kind of some segments and you're like, how do I turn it into a full song? And then you start to like struggle to like make ideas that are in your head happen in the computer. And then that's when you hit this brick wall, and that's when it starts to get not fun. And that's what we've kind of figured out in the last couple of years. That's why we go to a professional studio and we work with the other bandmates to finish the drums and the bass. And probably eventually we'll get a producer to help us fit in synthetic elements we want. But so I have that. I'm sitting at home and I'm like, oh, this thing kind of slaps a little bit. I got a bass, I got the drum line, I got the piano, and I probably started singing the verses first. I would assume I kind of started from here. So here's the verse. Let me bring it in.
And I say, when I'm running away, come take my hand out of the way. And I play like a bird in the breeze, like a bird in the seas.
And it's not like I just like spat that out. Like I probably laid a melody out. Like I would have gone in there and be like, na na na, when I'm running away, come take my. I would have ad-libbed lyrics, and some of them I would have liked the lyric and the melody, how they kind of moved, and then I'll write around that. So I'd be like, okay, like, and I'm running away, come take my hand. Like I would have come back and like maybe hit it with some other layers later on when I got a better vibe of the song. But usually I try to go in and get a melody first. I try to just lay down a melody and I'll ad-lib words, because I think the second most important thing to melody is like the syllables and the sound of the word with the melody. So like, it's not just that the notes go na 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 na. It's got to be like, when I ad-lib, I'll hear also a word with where the syllables or the rhyme really works with the melody. So like, and I say when I'm running away, it's like I couldn't just go in and rhyme like tax and facts. I couldn't be like, and my tax and I'm spitting all the facts. It's like something just does it. It just, I would go in and try to, if I don't like those lyrics, I would try to work in lyrics that have the same type of flow if I really liked how it sounds. So I'd be like, by the bay, all the girls gotta say, like it would be something, or even if it wasn't way, fake and take. I would want that like A kind of drawn out in there. That's what I'd look for, something similar. But anyway, yeah. So I would have laid down like kind of like a melody. I wouldn't have had those lyrics right off the rip. Let me see where it goes. Yeah, so I remember that lyric. And I'll play, ooh, like a bird in the breeze, like a bird in the seas. That was a total mistake of a line. That was an ad-lib. And obviously, I didn't want to say a bird in the breeze and a bird in the seas. It didn't make any sense. But when I told Rob, like when he was helping me like hash out lyrics and stuff for this, he for some reason liked that lyric. And in fact, he thought it was like a bird in the breeze, like a bird in the seats, like the seats of something. And I was like, nah, man, that doesn't make sense either. But he's like, nah, I like it. Keep it. And so like some lyrics have no meaning other than like they just like, they capture to me a sentiment when I wrote the lyric. So for me, that lyric always has a meaning because it's Rob thinking it was bird in the seats and like me knowing I messed that line up. It's just so like it has a meaning, but I'm not being literal with anything there. The sentiment is still the same though. Like I'm kind of feeling like a bird in the breeze. So like that's where the meaning, that's kind of where the meaning still comes from. And I didn't think that mistake deterred from it too much, so I kept it in there. Yeah. Again, I would have probably gotten more of a vibe for the song, written some more intentional lyrics, because at this point I've just been through like the verse, kind of a long verse there. And the second half of the verse, the sentiment is, I don't know if I'm talking to myself or if I'm talking to people, but I'm just saying, like, don't tell me what you're gonna do. Don't tell me what you're gonna say. Like, just fucking do it. Everybody's got to be someone someday. So I really do think I'm kind of talking to myself and the people I care about. And I'm just saying, I just like kind of like self-hype. Like, just don't say you're going to do it. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Just fucking do it, dude. Everybody's got to be someone someday. And I think that's true. Like, you, regardless of if you're too scared to do anything, you're still going to end up somewhere. I just kind of trying to capture that the fact that I'm trying to be this. So,
Be someone someday.
And like the freedom of it, like the impulse of it, and I'll kiss her in the light of day, making big moves some way. I think it was some way. Just being like, I'm just gonna kind of like take life by the nuts. Just like kiss her could be like more like a metaphor for just like, I'm just gonna, if I want it, I'm just gonna go out and go for exactly that. Yeah, okay. Whoa. I said making big scenes some way, but I guess just like I meant like making a statement. Like, I'll kiss her in the light of day. Everyone can fucking see me. I'll make a big splash. It's embarrassing, but if it's what I want to do, like... So at this point in the song, I'm probably... Like, this is where it starts to get difficult. You're like, I don't have a chorus. I don't have anything sort of like, how do I take the song that has all these elements that I've layered in there, guitars, synths, everything. And I don't know if I would have gone back to the intro and developed that out yet, but I probably, one thing I guess definitely early on I like to do, and everyone that's probably writing music early on, you like to cut out, like you cut back. Like there's some sort of a bridge where it's really stripped down, maybe just the beat. And I was really proud of the beat and I wanted to show it off. But the problem here is the beat's like kind of like really rhythmic and it's not rock. So I put like a little rap section in here because that's just what I was feeling. And then because I was rapping, I started, also being like, I like hip hop a lot. I like rap a lot. And in my spare time, I have made raps and I really enjoy it. And I listen to absolute trash trap music and like Drake and all like everything like tacky, and I'm about it. So you'll see me bring in my love for it here as I'm trying to like be like that cocky, confident, like you'll see. I bring in the rap element in these next couple parts.
1 2 1 2. Y'all know what you gotta do. Everybody's gotta be someone someday. Famos, yeah, you know I got the special flow. All the ladies wanna get to know me. I ain't fucking with no whistleblower. I'm a hipster wavy SoCal go man, and no, I don't need your hype man. Your lady wanna get this pipe man. Can tell you what is right, but it's tight man. Famos, Famos.
Let's just take a minute to let that soak in. I never fucked anybody's bitch that I know of. There may be girls that want this pipe out there. Definitely that could be true. But like you could just see that a couple year ago me is just feeling myself on this track. I hit it with a Famos at the beginning. I love this.
No, I got the special Famos, yeah.
Then I go, yeah, I got the special flow. All the ladies want to get to know me? Maybe. I ain't fucking with no whistle blow. I don't know if I said whistle blow or blowin'.
You know I got the special flow. All the ladies wanna get Famos, yeah, you know I got the special flow. All the ladies wanna get to know me. I ain't fucking with no whistleblower.
Yeah, I don't know if it was whistle blowing. It would make sense because I said I got the special flowing. Like instead of saying, yeah, I got the special flow, I said, yeah, I got the special flowing. Just I thought it was a little more interesting. I ain't fucking with no whistle blowing. I don't know what that means. It just kind of sounded cool. I don't really know what the sentiment is. Yeah. Just sounded cool. Just me. I ain't no snitch. You know, I just want to make my music. I don't want to get me too'd or like whatever. All the ladies want to get to know me, all this fun stuff. And I made this rap. I loved it. So I kept it in there. And then now there's no chorus. And for the longest time, I wrote songs too, just didn't have a chorus. And I only realized later in my songwriting how important they are. But I would have like this kind of like outro-y chorus mix. But, you know, that has its challenges because people have to wait so long to get to it. And, you know, it doesn't really have that repeat, like make you want to come back into the song. But still, like the song still turned out well enough that we liked it and we released it. But that's what's like, I'm like, there's no chorus. I don't know what the main kind of like hook is. So that's what I probably tried to lay down. And, you know, that's the next part here.
Hey, but it's time, man. Famos. They say legends never die, do they? So I'm gonna fucking try, okay? So just get off my case and just get out my way as I fly to this place in the sun. I'm gonna get famous one day. In fact, I named my whole band just to say that I'm already famous today. Oh yeah.
So that is the core of the song. You know, they say legends never die, do they? So I'm going to fucking try, okay? So just get out my way, just get out my face as I fly to my place in the sun. I'm going to get famous one day. In fact, I named my whole band just to say that I'm already famous today. It's like so juvenile, but it's so exactly what's going through my head every day of my life forever. Like, it's childish, but it's exactly like that. Couldn't have been a more literal line. Yeah, it's funny too, because we used to play a lot of live shows before the lockdown, and we don't have any synthetic element on stage. So when we do these songs live, it's a live drum, live bass. We don't bring this synth in. Obviously, we could if we really worked at it, and eventually probably will. But instead, because we don't, we actually end up making these really cool rock versions of these songs. And this song was like a crowd favorite, or I say friend favorite that would show up at multiple events because they would have heard this version and they would have heard, you know, the live version, and they would always ask for it. It comes out super cool as a rock version, and maybe an idea that we could bring back. Maybe we could do like the rock versions as a live set idea once things kind of open up again. But that just, it reminds me of how much the song changes. It's really cool because doing like the rap section and like the beat like on the live drums and with the bass and having like this big breakout at the end, it's like really rock and roll versus this, which is kind of more just like natural poppy kind of breakout. But so that's like pretty much the end of the song. I repeat it one more time and it gets, and with like another layer for added emphasis. So there's a cool little thing at the end here. I was so proud of that slow down. This was like just when like I was learning new stuff in Logic, and you can see on the screen here, this thing that I've highlighted here, those are those notes I was talking about, the synth. You know, it's going. You can see when the notes change. It's following this scale. You can convert this to audio, and I've shown you in the other video, like basically the audio versions of these, because when you export it for someone to like mix and stuff, you just export them the audio. You don't need to send all this data. But if you make it audio within the track, you can manipulate it like audio. And Logic has an audio slowdown feature. This little slant here. They have a fade feature as well. So you saw that I just hit it. See that? That's a fade in. You can right click that. See it says fade in or speed up or remove fade. I'll show you what the fade in sounds like. I just added that, and you can manipulate it. See, I'm shaping it so it's like a really sharp fade in or really drawn out fade in with a late increase, just like right at the end. But you can also make it a speed up because it's at the beginning. I right click it. Whoa, shit. Same deal. Weird. Anyway, I did that at the end and I learned that for this. So, oops. Just gonna delete that. Okay, so at the end, thought that was cool. So I'll loop back to the intro because that's the end of the song. And at the end of this podcast, I'll put the mix song because you'll actually see the difference between my thing and what Scott added. And then it's also mastered on top of that. So it'll be cool to hear the difference. So right back at the beginning, I don't know what I did first. I don't know at what point I came back to the beginning, but I know obviously by the time I'm writing this intro, I know the sentiment of the song. And I actually like the intro a lot. You know, you may not know what you got till it's gone. You're only right till you're wrong. And you never really know how much time you got left. So fuck it, cash your checks, spend that money, place your bets. It's a sick line. I used to write poetry a lot as not a lot, but I used to write poems, and my grandfather has a whole book of poetry. And I liked poetry, and I think I got a little bit of, you know, sometimes corny as it comes out. I do have bars. I definitely do have bars. And although I don't write lyrics a lot, I ad lib and kind of take what flows off the dome. I mix that with when I'm filling in the gaps and I'm choosing words with poetry. And that's how you get stuff like this. But yeah, I added some guitar over it and I layered it with some synths. And that's how you get, like, I'll play it and then I'll show you the elements of the intro. But
so you may not know what you got till it's gone. You only right till you're wrong. And you never really know how much time you got left. So fuck it, cash your checks, spend that money, place your bets, or send it.
yeah, and then I say, oh, send it at the end, like I'm such a little fuck boy. Okay, so these are the elements here. I think I just laid down a little guitar over it.
So you may not.
Oh, I actually sent a vocal track through a guitar amp. That's how I got these two vocals here.
I know. So you may not.
Oh, wait.
I know what you got.
Never mind. I didn't actually end up running. I think initially I ran it through a guitar amp because I wanted that effect, but I think Scott ended up running it through some different effects. You'll see the difference. Scott did a lot of changes to the intro. A lot of changes. But yeah, so you may not know where's the guitar at. I thought I had the guitar, but it was my voice. Here's a guitar. What's funny about songs is usually when you isolate tracks, they sound so like off in some way or heinous but it's just the nature of recording songs because you never, when you go see a live show, you never hear isolated tracks. You're used to music as a whole. And what's funny is that I know this from playing live shows. I fuck up a lot on stage, but not in a noticeable way. I'm just saying when I fuck up, like I won't play a note perfectly, but it just everything blends and it still sounds good. And like that's the nature of music. It's more of a flow, and that's why some people are really good at live, but don't record well. I'm somewhere in between. I do a lot of takes, but I do know how to record well. But yeah, that's a guitar there, and I layered in synths. And you also hear that guitar's got like effects on it. It's got a doubler, so it's like kind of, you can hear. I just turned it off. So it's double. That kind of thickens it up, spreads it out. I added this synth. Beautiful. And then I added a plucky synth that matched the guitars. And that's kind of what layers with it. That's why you can't hear that guitar fuck up, because all that shit's going on. It sounds terrible, but then when you bring it together.
Cash your checks, spend that money, place your bets, or send it.
This is also the problem too with listening to, when you start making music, you can't listen to music. You can, sorry, it's not like, but if you start listening to music with the intention of like I'll hear songs, and if I like the song, I will try to listen to the components to like see what they're doing. Like, oh, are they doubling a voice? Is it panned? Like, what are they doing to that guitar? Like, I try to like listen to these components, and it ends up like you hear things in songs. You don't realize like there's so much little nitpicky stuff in music that you just do not, you only if you're focusing on it do you hear it. And I think that a lot of people that play instruments, like if you're a drummer, you listen to music and you're just like, just focusing on the drums. You don't even hear the lyrics in the guitar, and like you pick up on everything. Same if like you're a singer or you're a guitar player, but if you're also into production, you can sometimes get lost in any of it. And so when I listen to our own music, I have a hard time knowing if it's, after a while, I don't even know it sounds good anymore, because all I'm thinking about, I'm trying to like listen to it as like the producer of it. But it's like a nightmare because you can just nitpick away. But as a whole, the song could be sounding nice, and you can just get lost in the sauce a little bit. It's kind of not a big deal now because we write music. How we do it now, or at least for the last few songs, is we write music live. And then we make a recorded version, but it doesn't matter how good the recorded version is in the computer, because we're going to meet up with the band, rewrite the drums, rewrite the bass, and change around the structure a bit. And then we will emulate those changes on the computer. I'll come home and I'll add like a close representation of those changes. And then that's what we'll bring into the studio. And then we'll redo the whole thing in studio. We'll just use the one we made as like what we record to, because it's in the right time. The pieces are there for the most part, but they can sound like shit because we're going to redo them anyway. As long as the structure is there and everything lines up, that's how we do it. It's not how we're going to do it forever, but it's just how like this style of music really works with it, and it's a way for us to get music done. Whereas if we try to do it all in-house before we hit the walls I told you about that make it kind of difficult to make songs that match what's in the dome. So yeah, that's Famos, man. That was, if you listened to the previous episode a few episodes ago where I broke apart Gassed, you can see how far I came as a producer between Gassed and this. Like, Gassed is a pile of shit. This is clean. Look how simple this is. Look at that. That is nothing. What do we have here? And I could make this simpler. There's like unnecessarily twice layered drums. So at the bottom of the screen here, around where my cursor is, technically I could bring all these into a little stack. Even this one up here is drums. I could have I could have had all this little area as a stack. I have one vocal, and then at the end I add a second layer. For like I could have done so much more to the song to make it more dynamic and better, but that's just the nature of it. And I mean, you can always go back and re-record stuff as you get better. But that's a song, 1 or 2 guitars. It's like a main guitar with, you can hear some. It's like 2 guitars there, 1 sub bass, 1 kind of main synthesizer, and then I did layer like 2 or 3 synths. But like, I mean, as far as songs go, this is about as simple as it comes. And I'll put at the end of this epi the released mixed mastered version, and it's going to be cool for you to see that last like 10-15% of changes. But that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun for me, and I'll do stuff like this periodically when I want to do an episode and I don't have guests and stuff. But I'm still working on it. COVID is just being COVID, and I'm doing my best. I really appreciate the listens and the continued support through like a weird time. It means a lot. It actually has like helped me just be more confident as a podcaster that I'm not just some, like, I was relying on guests before, but now that it has been barely any guests for a year and I'm still making this podcast, it's just more of a mental challenge. Just, can I do this each week? And I want to just get better with it. I want to do more fun, different things. So thank you. Rock and roll, new music coming. We're going to blow up. We're going to get rich. We're going to get famous, as the song says. Take me out myself from years ago. Let's go.
So you may not know what you got till it's gone. You only right till you're wrong, and you never really know how much time you got left. So fuck it, cash your checks, spend that money, place your bets, or send it. I'll say when I'm running away, come take my hand away. I play like a bird in the breeze, like a bird in the seas. So don't you go away. Don't you tell me what you're gonna do. Don't you tell me what you're gonna say. Everybody's gonna be someone someday. And you're kissing the light of day, making big sense some way. Everybody's gotta be someone someday. Break it down for me. 1, 2, 1, 2. Y'all know what you gotta do. Everybody's gotta be someone someday. Famous, yeah, you know I got the special flow. All the ladies wanna get to know me. I ain't fucking with no whistleblower. I'm the hipster wavy SoCal dope man. And no, I don't need your hype man. Your lady wanna get this pipe man. Can tell you what is right, but it's tight man. Famous, famous. They say legends never die, do they? So I'm gonna fucking try.